I get asked this a lot. Hey Jeff, what's the best way for me to follow up with a prospect that I've had a really good meeting with, but then I can't just seem to get a hold of again? And I mean, the stock answer, as we all know by now, is to make sure that you don't leave the current meeting without getting the next meeting. The problem is, that's not always possible, is it? Sometimes there's another call coming in. Sometimes your meeting runs over. Sometimes there's an emergency. Whatever it is, there's something that comes up that prevents you from booking the next meeting while you're sitting there. Okay, we all deal with this. I've dealt with it. You've dealt with it. It becomes this kind of endless cycle of frustrating tail-chasing follow-up that's just, God, it's just problematic. And I thought the customer was interested. I thought that prospect was ready to move. Well, barring any last-second changes of mind or changes of disposition by the prospect, a lot of this is just something that you need to be working through. You've already determined that you're the right fit for them. You know it. You just haven't been able to convey that message. So this is what I do. I start acting as if I'm already working with the customer. And part of my business, and certainly part of your business as well, is providing value beyond the product or service that you offer directly. Now, if this is going to be a long-term relationship, you're always going to have something for them. There's always going to be something you can do for them that they're not getting anywhere else. So don't treat your ideas, your tips, your value as if it's limited. I hear people say, well, I can't give all my good stuff away. Why not? It's your good stuff, but if there's a limit to your good stuff, you got to really rethink what kind of business you're in. So when you're following up, the same goes for when you're prospecting and initially reaching out. Give them a value point. Give them a tip. Give them an idea. Get creative. Brainstorm on their behalf. Send an email with a link to an article that you saw and made you think of them. Give them a tip or give them a networking piece. Give them something. Introduce them to someone that you know would be worth them knowing too. Think about yourself as if you're already working with that customer and get to work. You'd be surprised how often that actually leads to the next step. People ask me how often is too often, and how often will I be, how often if I follow up too often will I be perceived as annoying? Well, I tell people that depends on the follow-up and the content. If you're thinking of that prospect or that customer in terms of their best interests and willing to share their best interests with them, you're going to find a lot of success that way. So if you like this tip, subscribe to the channel. I put a lot of new stuff up on a regular basis, and I know that you're going to find value in some of the other videos here if you found value in this one. Until the next time I see you, go out and be great.